Hey guys, it's an interesting video on Wild Rift. So now we're back with, technically it's kind of not really an Ash commentary guide, but more of just a general guide on how to take advantage of an enemy who has AFK, who has trolled, or basically something went wrong, like their team comp isn't really up to par, like having double smite, which is what we have in this match, having no smite, or basically there's only three scenarios. You either have no smite, double smite, or you have an AFK, which is, or maybe even more than one AFK. But yeah, I haven't been posting a lot of videos lately because I've been doing a lot of losing in rank, so not too much content that I can really push out. This match was where I just dropped from Diamond back to Emerald in the previous match, but obviously this match the enemy team has two smites, one on the Caitlyn and one on the Olaf. I assume something went wrong, some kind of argument happened in champ select, and somehow Caitlyn ended up taking smite. So very briefly, I'm just going to cover the three possible scenarios you can get, which is the enemies having double smite, which we'll cover in this video itself. The enemies, one enemy being AFK, which honestly is very similar to having double smite like in this video, because here we're in a 2v1 lane where the Caitlyn isn't actually with the Senna. And the last scenario is the enemy having no smite. Now when the enemy has no smite, it's pretty simple to take advantage of. Basically just go for every objective that you can, and the enemy shouldn't be able to contest unless they kill your jungler, or unless they're smart, they play around the other objective. Like if you go for Dragon, they go for Herald, but not too many teams can be that coordinated in solo queue. Alright, so anyways, here I'm going to talk about having an enemy AFK or an enemy troll. In this case, it's a double jungle. So basically what you want to do is, as you guys can see, we're just hard shoving the lane. So this is of course assuming that you are in the lane where there is a missing enemy. So basically the person in your lane has either AFK'd or they're somewhere else on the map, like this Caitlyn, because she has smite. So as you can see here, obviously you want to abuse the Senna or whoever is left in the lane, because it's gonna be a 2v1. Now of course this is in perspective of the bot lane or the duo lane, but if let's say you're playing in the top lane and the enemy has there's no enemy there, you do the same thing. You hard shove the minion wave, you just go for the tower, and of course you have to be aware if like a jungler or like the mid laner is coming up to gank you. But aside from that, you just want to be shoving as much as possible. Here we can see like the Caitlyn and the Galio in the mid lane. We know the top laner hasn't roamed, so at worst it's gonna be a 2v2 with Senna and Olaf versus me and Seraphine. So we are relatively confident to just shove, and you know, within the first like 3 minutes or so, we have already gotten the tower. So here obviously we want to do our best to kill the Senna. Ideally we should be killing the Senna at least once or multiple times because she's in a 1v2, but obviously she knows that as well, so she's not gonna be doing anything that will put herself in too much danger. She should be playing relatively safe. We didn't manage to blow everything from her there, and here we're just gonna take a recall, because we can see Galio hit it down, but of course he changed course back to the mid lane. Caitlyn comes over to defend her tower. But yeah, so basically when of course this is all in the perspective of the bot lane, because in any other lane there pretty much would be just one thing to do, which is just to shove and be aware if anyone else is coming. So in the bot lane, all you want to do is you shove all the minion waves, you get your support to help you shove as well, or if you're the support, get the ADC help you shove as well. Both people should be attacking the minions, they should be shoving. Of course ADC still takes the last hits, and go for the tower. Now when you've gotten the first tower, this is where it gets pretty interesting. So basically when we get here, there are two scenarios. The first scenario is that the team actually comes and tries to cover up and defend this lane. But there is also another possibility, which is where the enemy team doesn't come. So here in this case the enemy team did come, but we are pretty much killing them, so that doesn't really matter. But sometimes the better play is to rotate over and translate your pressure to other sides of the map, like going mid lane to get mid tower, or going top lane to get top tower. So in this case Olaf and Galio are finally responding, so here we're just going to back off, because we don't want to go like a full-on fight with the two of them. So pretty much if no one responds, you can keep on pushing. Sometimes you can push the second tier tower as well. I've even seen instances in certain matches where the enemy team just says, okay, that's not my lane, that's not my business, and they just stay in their own lane, or they just go about their own business. And I have seen matches where either I'm on the team that does it, or the enemy team does it to my team, where the team manages to push all the way and even get the inhibitor, like, you know, within the first like 7 minutes of the game or so, just because no one is defending that lane. Now that is very possible. So we're just gonna do as much damage as we can. So here, you know, that we've chased off the enemies and killed some of them, we are just going to try to push the tower. Now here, something a little bit unfortunate happens. Basically, Olaf comes, we are trying to kite him out with our slows and roots and stuns and etc. But he gets on and kills the both of us. Now, honestly, what happened here was a lot of miscommunication between me and my support, because we were duo queue and we were on voice chat. So he was telling me to run, but I thought that we should actually turn onto the Olaf. And by the time the Olaf caught up to the Seraphine and we decided to turn, it was a little bit too late. So sort of like a little bit of a miscommunication there. No one's fault really, but because of that, both of us die. So a little bit of pressure relieved for the enemy team. Now this is definitely what you want to avoid at all costs when you are in this sort of scenario, which is to die. Because if the enemy has a troll, a AFK, or something like that, you know, you should be winning. That should be a guaranteed win, and you don't want to throw the match in any way, shape, or form and let the enemy somehow win that match. We have had a lot of instances where either our team wins 4v5 or the enemy team wins 4v5, and you know, always for the team that has the 5, that's always going to be embarrassing and you're always going to feel bad about it. So you never want that to happen to you, of course. So of course, when you find yourself in the advantageous position like I found myself in this match, you always want to, you know, play properly, which is why I created this video, because I don't actually really see anybody having a video on what exactly to do and how to press your advantage kind of thing on YouTube. But of course, these scenarios are very out of the norm, but you know, you have to admit that they do happen from time to time, regardless of the rank, whether be it in bronze or in even in like grandmaster or challenger. There will always be these kind of instances. So here, as you can see, my team has 3 people pushing with the Rift Herald at top, and we have 4 people in the mid lane. So all we're doing here is we're trying to stop them from backing and trying to force them to fight us without dying. Now, of course, here Seraphine dies, but I don't. So here, I'm pretty much one person distracting 3 people while my team pushes with the Rift Herald at top. Here, I'm again disrupting the Galio's back. I'm trying to go disrupt the Caitlyn as well, but I can't do that without compromising my own safety. Here, Fizz comes in and we kill the Galio. Xin Zhao comes in for a backup as well. So, pretty much, that's another tip for you guys, is if you see your team is pushing and having an advantage on another side of the map and you have a lot of enemy members with you, what you can do is you can overstep a little bit to try to stop the enemy's backs and stop them from responding, which will allow your team to get more. Of course, the ideal scenario here is you do it and stay safe at the same time. So of course you have to do it with somebody ranged, like, you know, Ashe and Seraphine. You can't do that with something like a Darius, because you need to walk straight into their faces and put yourself in danger. So if you're playing a ranged champion, we should always try to disturb them, try to disrupt their backs, and allow your team to get an advantage on the other side of the map. Now in this game, we actually have a bit of a unique situation, because since the enemy team actually has double smite, if they actually played, you know, seriously for objectives, they technically would have an advantage over us in terms of securing the objective, because of course they have 2 smites. So we do have to be a little bit wary of that, of course. Now here, we actually caught Galio out of position, but he manages to ult away from the 2 of us. So unfortunately, he escapes. Ult was up and available. So here, we are actually trying to push the mid lane, but we realize that there is no wave. Here, Olaf is a little bit worse for wear after the fight, but unfortunately, nobody can really catch up to him. So instead, we're just going to push, but unfortunately, Lucian's culling, you know, does double damage to minions, so he is able to clear the entire minion wave. Now instead, I'm going to just help the Xin Zhao out with the dragon. We can clearly see the majority of the enemy team is at their at the top side, bot side, jungle, so shouldn't really be a threat to us securing the objective. Here, Seraphine just kind of distracting them in general to make sure they don't go anywhere near the pit. Here, I get a catch onto the Caitlyn combined with the Seraphine ultimate for a quick kill. Galio comes in with the taunt, but he is 1v3. Senna's shield keeps him alive for a second longer, but he is gone. And now only the pair of Lucian and Senna are left up, of course. Olaf is around as well, and he just turns up to the mid lane. Alright, so here, team is going for the Rift Herald. I'm just going to take a... I was thinking of taking a quick reset, but instead I decide to secure my team the mid lane. Priority, of course, whenever going for objectives, having mid lane push is always important, regardless of whether it is a match that you're at an advantage or not. But here, Skull has been secured, and we are going, of course, for the objective. Now we can see Caitlyn is in the mid lane, so worst case scenario we have to contend with one Olaf Smite, but we secure it very very quickly. And yes. Alright, so here, me and Fizz combo our ultimates for the chain CC, but Galio barely takes any damage, but fortunately for us, he can't tank like 5 people. He can't tank one full team, so we do still manage to get the kill, but I was really surprised how our ults didn't really even do any damage to him. Of course, Fizz ult is the main bulk of the damage, and of course Galio does have that magic damage shield, so that's probably quite a major part of the reason, but still, that was a very tanky Galio. So here we secure the mid lane tower, and we're going to push for the inhibitor. Of course, generally, almost at all times, there's 2 members on the enemy team dead, so we can't, of course, go and push further on. So here we're going all the way and trying to just pick up the kills onto the final few enemy members, but unfortunately, it goes awry when Galio gets a triple kill. So Galio gets a little bit bloodthirsty, wants to go for the penta. I have to body block for the Seraphine. Of course, we don't want to give away any kills anywhere, so I have to block for the Seraphine. Let me take ECC so that he isn't able to pick up the kill on the Seraphine, and 2 of us can of course recall and reset. So now when these sort of mistakes happen, which of course whenever you have the advantage, these mistakes still happen very often. You want to just minimize the impact the enemy gets from it. Like, don't give them more kills, let them take objectives if you can help it. But the enemy team has obviously surrendered, as you guys can see. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. So thank you guys for watching the video, and goodbye.